friend that committed suicide. Wow, look at that. Suicide is very real. It shouldn't be happening as often as it is. Okay, we could do something about it.
Yes, sir.
It's a horrible epidemic that's been underground for a long time. It's getting worse and worse instead of better and better. So let me finish my story. I told you what Mark's plan was to commit suicide. He had his well-financed to go to Mexico, get his Nebutal, go to Costa Rica, go out and tie a rope around his neck. He already bought the rope and the weight and the gun, and he was going to go down deep in the ocean. So I got wind of it the day he left for Mexico. And just to make a long story short, if you want to read it, we wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
My son and I, Suicide Stalks the Sniper.
Now, this was a project. I had told Mark, this is an amazing story. You need to turn it into your triumph. And he partnered with you. They created this. These are red flags. I think this is just a genius little idea. It's in the book also. So this is a great example, you guys, of what could have been a tragedy turns into a triumph. And I'm so glad to be part of your family and what you're doing here. So if you want to talk to Dr. Miller, I would definitely talk to him if you know someone who is struggling with suicide or if you have a friend. Thank you.
Right, and Dr. Jabi has a chapter in this book, by the way. So, so the story was, okay, so I got wind of this, and I felt, my first impulse was, I've got to get on the next plane to Mexico. Mexico has 40 million people. In Mexico City, we were just there this afternoon, believe it or not. How am I going to find him in 27 million people? So I said, this is, and he'll see me before I see him. So I hired 3 bounty hunters from California. I got the U.S. Marshals involved. I got the Navy CIA involved. And I got the Mexican federales involved. We had 26 people on his tail finding him. We found out he went to Puerto Vallarta. We followed around different hotels. And just behind him was a cat and mouse game with the loser being death. Finally, on the last day, he got to Mexico City Airport, where we were this afternoon, and he was boarding the plane to Costa Rica. We had failed. The 26 people, we all had failed. That's when God came in. The federales saw him on his passport. It was flagged. They ran after him. He jumped over the counter. He jumped over the walls. I mean, he was a Navy SEAL. Okay, so he took off, and they all ran behind him, and he finally was caught by 26 federales chasing him and got him down and took away his Nebutal. That's not the end of the story, but I won't tell you that. You can read it in the book. But we got Mark back, so we got him out of the war. But we didn't get the war out of Mark. There's a big difference. Even though I got him back, and I was so grateful for God for that, but he was still haunted with the demons and with the depression. I heard about Dr. Punjabi and what she was doing, and to me as a medical doctor, that's kind of weird, this neuroplasticity and all this kind of stuff. I said, well, let's go talk to her. So Mark and I went over, sat down and talked to her. Wow, she had a plan, and she understood. She was treating veterans. So I said, Mark, go for it. So Mark, he did his neural mapping and found out he had certain areas. We needed to retrain his brain, right? That's what he had to do. He couldn't just keep on, we couldn't give him pills, of course, that made him worse. We needed to retrain his brain. So she did that, and he wouldn't talk about the suicide for a long time, but after therapy with Dr. Punjabi, he started talking about it, and she convinced him he should write about it. So he started writing this book, and I had kept a very detailed journal of all at the same time. So we put it together. This book goes back and forth between dad and son. And we could make a movie out of it, probably someday we should. It's an amazing story, how we tracked him through and the cat and mouse game was going on. But the bottom line is this: after he wrote the book, it really, really helped to give him purpose. and it really retrained his brain. So a few things I learned as being an ER doc and then experiencing this as a parent, the lessons are always look for the red flags, and there's a lot of red flags. You know, look at our neighbors. Maybe some of them are lonely, some of them are grumpy. What's going on there? Maybe we shouldn't be mad, we should go over and see what's wrong with them. What about families, like this lady? How about families whose children have committed suicide? Man, they need more support than anybody else. We should support them. So number one, look for red flags. Get support, get them into support groups. Get them into a good psychologist that can treat them. Psychologist, not psychiatrist. Huge difference. Most psychiatrists today have become no more than drug dealers. I'm sorry to say. Get into a good psychologist. And if you're on an antidepressant, get help to get off. You gotta get off those antidepressants. There are 15 proven things that work better than antidepressants. And I won't get into them now, but one of them is sunshine, one of them is vitamin D, one of them is the blue zones. Why do they live long? They eat the right food, natural food. They don't eat any packaged foods, okay? So there's a lot of things we can do. Exercise, all these things work better than antidepressants. And absolutely get in touch with Dr. Punjaba. Get the neuroplasticity, retrain your brain. So there's hope. And hope is what cures suicide. Hope. We all have hope. So thank you so much.